Everyone, and welcome into the live. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a simple and easy way for you to find, interview for, and land higher paying job offers in 30 days or less. This is not theory. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. So get a pen and a piece of paper. I come on live every day at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, or close to that, so I can help you guys understand what you need to be doing in order to get higher paying job offers fast. That's important. Now, who is this live for? Okay. This live is for you. If you're someone who is submitting applications for jobs and you're constantly getting rejection letters, right? You're getting rejection emails that say we decided to go with someone else, and no one is even talking to you, but you're getting those rejections. This is for you. If you are someone who is submitting your application and no one is calling, like you're not getting any phone calls at all, and you don't know why, you're submitting your application. Maybe you may even go back and redo your resume or what have you, but you're still not getting phone calls. And you don't know why? I'm going to tell you why. If you're someone who thinks that really there are not enough jobs out there, so the situation is challenging and you're going to be stuck like Chuck. If you're someone who doesn't understand that how many jobs are actually available right now, and you really want to know where can I find jobs, then this is for you. And if you're someone who is constantly getting low-paying job offers, this is for you. And if you struggle with job interviewing, right? You're like, every time I interview, it's just, I get so nervous. I'm going to walk you through how to never be nervous again in a job interview. So if you're someone who struggles with job interviewing, I am going to help you out. So grab a pen and a piece of paper or your tablet or whatever. And I'm going to walk you through a process that is a guarantee that if you follow the process, you will have multiple job offers in 30 days or less. What I'm sharing with you is what I share with every single person on my 30-day to higher paying job offer fast track program. Okay. There are 4 components that you must understand, 4 parts to the fast track program. Part number 1 is you got to have a resume that attracts the attention of hiring managers and recruiters. Number 2, you got to know how to find jobs. Number 3, you have to be able to interview in jobs and interview the right way. Most people interview the wrong way. I would say almost all of you probably interview the wrong way. And then number 3, how can you send a 4-sentence question when you get an offer, a 4-sentence message back to the hiring manager and get them to gladly give you $2,000 to $10,000 more for every job offer that you get? I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you're ready, first goal is we want to get to 10,000 likes. So tap the screen so we can spread the like throughout the live. Spread the like throughout the platform. Just tap the screen. If you want me to review your resume, I will be reviewing resumes, and I have staff standing by to review resumes. That is always free. I'll take a look at your resume and tell you this is what you need to fix, change, correct, add, or it may look great, and I'll tell you that it looks great. Okay. If you want to email me your resume right now live, you can. My email address on Facebook and on Instagram is pinned in the chat. It's Daniel@dscds.com, and on TikTok it is above my head. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is a replay. My email address is Daniel@dscds.com. Daniel@dscds.com. I have a lot of people who reach out to me from YouTube because they need the help. But let's go ahead and get started, because there are so many people who are struggling. I'll tell you a quick story as I'm getting started. So I had a gentleman that I did a one-on-one coaching call with today, and he may even be watching. I'm not going to say his name. He is a data analyst. Okay. Very smart guy. I mean, this guy is super smart and he's sharp, very articulate, right? And so he came to me because he saw me on one of the lives and he said, I have been struggling. I graduated last year with my bachelor's degree and I have not been able to land a job in my career field and I don't know why. So anytime I talk to someone, I always try to make sure that I try to get to the bottom of why it is happening. So I'll ask some qualifying questions like, okay, so you graduated last year, you got your bachelor's degree, great. Have you been applying to jobs? Yes. Have you been getting interviews? Yes. How many interviews have you had? He told me in the last year he has had 30 interviews. And I said, okay, of the 30 interviews you've had, how many offers have you gotten? He said 0. I said, I know what your problem is. I could just automatically tell him what his problem is. Now, whenever I do a one-on-one coaching session, I'll send out a 5-question survey to have them send back some information to me. And one of his responses was he thinks that he is a very good speaker. That's one of his strengths. And I had to tell him something. I said, the issue you have is your strength. When you interview, it's the thing that is making you weak and why nobody's picking you. I'm going to talk to you guys about job interviewing in just a second, but I had to tell him that and be honest with him. You talk too much in the interview. You're blabbering. And he agreed. He said, yeah, I just explained. And so I'm going to explain to you why you should never do that and why a hiring manager will never hire you if you talk too much, if you try to sell yourself, if you try to prove to them that you can do the job. If you try to do that in an interview, you're not going to get the job, ever get the job. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why in just a second. But let's talk about the top 5 reasons why you are not getting selected. So you see a job on the job board and you apply to that job and you're like, why is no one calling me? Now, before I get started, I'm going to explain to you, because many of you're new to this live, or you may be new to this YouTube replay, or you may be new to Facebook, or you may be new to Instagram, and you've never seen me. You have no idea who I am. I'm going to tell you who I am. Okay? I have been doing talent acquisition and recruiting for 36 years. Okay? Every hiring process for the companies that employ me, I designed the entire process. So when a hiring manager wants to hire for a job, they come to my office or call me, and we then talk about the position. I ask them some questions. First, do you have a job description? If they don't have a job description, I create one. Okay? Do you have a pay range? If they don't have a pay range, I will do a salary survey and get that pay range for them. And once I get the approval from the job description and the pay range, I then post and publish that position in the applicant tracking system. It then goes to our career site on our website, which then next day falls on the job board where you see it. When you apply to that job and you click submit, that resume comes back into the applicant tracking system that I am the admin on, and I manage every part of it. Okay, how we see candidates, what we're looking for, all of the rejection letters or emails or exception letters, acceptance letters or emails, everything. I manage everything on the front end of an applicant tracking system. The front end portion of the HRIS system, which is the ATS. I manage all of that. So if you submit your resume for a job that you know you're qualified for and you don't get an interview for that job, I know exactly why it's happening. And I'm going to tell you why it's happening. Okay? Because if you know why something is happening, then you have the empowerment, or you have the power to stop it. But if you don't know what's happening, like the client I spoke to today, when I asked him, do you know why you have not gotten a job offer after 30 interviews in the last year? Do you know? And he started to try to give me an understanding of, well, maybe this, maybe that. I said, you really don't know, do you? And so you don't know why you're not getting picked. You have no idea. I'm going to tell you. Okay. So if you submit your resume for a job, every hiring manager that I have ever worked with for the past 35 years want to see the same exact thing. Just like as a candidate, you and every other candidate on the planet wants to see the exact same thing when they see a job posting. There are some questions you have in your mind that you want answered about the job before you apply to it. Well, every hiring manager has questions in their mind about you as a candidate before they decide to agree to interview you. Well, what are those things they want to see to answer the questions in their mind? So the hiring manager says, I have a problem. I need help. I published a position. When you submit your resume, the first question they ask themselves is, okay, I'm looking at this person's resume. What do they do? Okay. Now, I'm not talking about looking through your resume to figure out what you do. No hiring manager is going to do that ever. You have to tell them in a very straightforward and direct, all bold letters at the very top of your resume, I am an expert, whatever. 99% of you do not do that. And that's strike one. So let me give you an example. I paint this picture every time I do live because I want you to understand. You need to understand that every job solves a problem for an organization. They need help. So today is Wednesday. Imagine you got up this morning and you walked into your kitchen and your floor in your kitchen was flooded. You didn't know where the water was coming from. So you look under your kitchen sink and you see that water is pouring out of your wall. So a pipe has broken. So you pick up your phone and you call around to a bunch of plumbing companies and you say, help, help, help. I need help. 1 hour later, 3 people show up at your door from 3 different companies. Okay. The first person has on an all white shirt with khaki pants and a tool belt. Nothing is on the shirt. The second person is standing there. They have an all black shirt with khaki pants and a tool belt. Nothing on his shirt either. Now, you know you called for a plumber, but nothing is on either one of their shirts. A third person shows up. They have on a gray shirt, a tool belt and khaki pants, but across the top of their shirt it says expert plumber. Okay? Of the 3 people that I just described, be honest, 1, 2, or 3, which one are you most likely to invite into your house to help you solve your problem? 1, 2, or 3, type it in the chat. Which one? Chris says, can I send you my resume right now? Yes. Email it to me, daniel@dscds.com. I have staff standing by right now. Okay, we'll look at your resume and review it and give you our feedback right now. So most people, and most of you on all of the social media platforms, you're saying you're going to invite the third person into your house. Now, when I ask people this question, whenever I'm doing a presentation anywhere, why did you pick the third person? They all say the same thing. I need a plumber, and that person showed me they were an expert plumber. The other 2 people didn't. That's what's happening with your resume. When your resume comes into the job, into the applicant tracking system, you are like the 2 people that have nothing on their shirt. No one knows what you do. So hiring managers, throw your resume in the trash can. So your resumes must show in big bold letters, like a billboard, what you're an expert at. Okay, so in the case of the guy that I talked to, expert data analyst. I don't care if you just graduated from college. I don't care, right? Expert data analyst, expert plumber, expert payroll manager, expert talent acquisition pro, expert HR director, expert CFO, whatever you are, that needs to be the first thing everybody sees, because they're saying, I have a problem, like you have a plumbing problem, and I need somebody to help me. What does this person do? If you don't show them that right off the bat, they're going to throw your resume away. What is the second thing they want to see as proof that you can help them? Okay. The second thing they want to see is, okay, I see that you are an expert payroll manager, expert scrum master, expert IT pro. How long have you been doing it in terms of years? Now, why do they want to know how many years you've been doing it? Because it helps them to determine whether or not they need to train you or hold your hands. And if a hiring manager has a big of enough problem that they need to solve, they are not going to want to hire someone who does not show them the number of years experience they have. Okay? So now, even if you have listed the number of years experience on your resume, but you don't tell them what you do, you've just lost credibility. They still don't want to talk to you. You're making it too hard for hiring managers to pick you. Okay? Now there's a third thing they want to know from everybody. Okay? And I promise you, almost 100% of you don't have this on your resume at all. Okay? And this is the thing that helps a hiring manager to determine if they're going to give you the highest salary or the lowest salary, or somewhere in the middle. Okay? So it says expert plumber, 20 years experience. And the third thing it says, serving 20,000 customers. That's a metric. That's data. That tells us this person, he's been used by 20,000 people. You guys do the same thing. When you go to Amazon and you look at a product you want to buy, you look at the reviews and then you say, how many reviews have they had? Oh, if 10,000 people reviewed this and they have a 4.8, it must be good, right? That's kind of what's happening with your resume. I know that comparison is funny, but you don't have metrics on your resume. So no one knows how good you actually are, right? Every job is tied to an outcome that produces revenue generation or cost savings. Every job for every company makes the company money or saves the company money, and that job is tied to it. Okay? So when you have metrics, you are clearly showing the hiring manager how good you are, how much of an expert you are. But most of you, almost every single resume I look at every week, and I look at hundreds, they don't have it on their resume. There are no metrics. So no one knows how good you are. So best case scenario, they're going to push your resume to the side until they find someone where that information is more clear. And if they find someone before they get back to your resume, you're going to get a rejection that says, thank you for applying. We decided to go with someone else. Okay? The fourth thing that I add to every single person's resume, because when I submit candidates to hiring managers, they want to know. Christian says, do you charge for a resume review? No, it's free. 100% free. Okay? It is a statement that says, I help you to whatever. Nike does this. Okay? When Nike is trying to, they come out with a brand new shoe. Nike says, we have a brand new shoe coming out on, what's today? June 24th. This shoe is going to help you to feel more comfortable, run faster, jump higher, walk longer, live a better life. Whatever, Nike makes these promises to you, right? So when you see that, you are looking at the benefit the shoe gets you, not what the shoe costs. So you say, I want a more comfortable shoe. I want a more stylish shoe. I want a shoe that's going to help me perform better. I want a shoe that's going to help me do X, Y, Z. So before you even look at the price, before they even tell you the price, they tell you the benefit, right? And then, based on that benefit, you go buy the shoe. Well, guess what? Hiring managers are the same way. They want to know, what benefit do I stand to gain if I make a decision to hire you? Your value statement tells them that. I help you to reduce turnover, increase the quality of candidates you get by 95%, increase your time to fill ratio by 98%, whatever that is, right? So when a company is trying to hire an expert recruiter and they're looking at me, it's very easy for them to understand, listen, the benefit they get if they hire me. And this value statement is what makes hiring managers call you first out of every single person that's in the stack of candidates they have to go through. DeMarcus Thomas says, hey, Daniel, I received my resume. It looks great. Thank you to you and your team. Absolutely. Use that resume to start applying to jobs, and you're going to start seeing, instead of you having to chase recruiters and hiring managers, they're going to start chasing you. It's not a complaint. The one comment I get from people on my fast track program who I am helping to land higher paying job offers in 30 days, the one thing they tell me is, I am overwhelmed by the number of responses I am getting from my resumes, my application. Overwhelmed. And we also fix their LinkedIn profile to make sure the LinkedIn profile is in line. And they get so many inbox messages from recruiters who look at their LinkedIn profile. Because I know what recruiters want. I'm a recruiter. Okay, so I manage talent acquisition. I know exactly what we want to see. So I tell clients, this is what it needs to look like because this is what we want to see. You know what I mean? So your resume is holding you back and you don't even know it. Now, you can continue to do exactly what you're doing. And I can promise you one thing, nothing will change. I don't care if you go use AI, Claude, ChatGPT, BET. I don't care. If you don't know the prompt to tell Chat, Claude, and whoever else, they're not going to be able to create a resume that attracts the attention of hiring managers and recruiters. Now, why do I know this? When we put a person's resume together, it is based on the tens of thousands of questions hiring managers have asked me and my team when I submit candidates. Every one of them asked me the same question. So I got so tired 28 years ago. I got so tired of them all asking me the same question that I said, you know what? I'm just going to recreate resumes that answer those questions before they even ask it. And that's how I came up with what I've done. Because I was tired of them asking me the same. What do they do, Daniel? How long have they been doing it? Like I'm saying to myself, I don't say this out loud to them. I just gave you a resume. Can you look at the resume? Right? So now I tell them with the resume, I tell them before they ask, this is what this person does. This is how long they've done it. This is how good they are at doing it, metrics, and this is how they're going to help make your life easier. They're going to help you do X, Y, Z. Every hiring manager says, great, set them up for an interview. And every recruiter on my team, they're required to do the exact same thing when they're submitting candidates. Everyone. Okay, so that's one reason why you are not getting calls when you apply to jobs. Now I'm going to give you the second reason. Okay, you're not going to like this, but it's the truth. And I come on live every day and I say, I challenge you to find anyone else in the universe who will tell you what I'm about to tell you right now. They're not going to tell you. This second reason why you are not getting calls. And it has nothing to do with you. The reason why you are not getting calls is because your resume is at the bottom of the pile of applications. Let me explain to you how we roll in recruiting. When you apply to a job, let's say you apply to a job today. The job was published yesterday. You apply to the job today. Every time somebody applies to the job after you, your resume goes further and further and down. Kind of like your email. It goes down in the applicant tracking system on that requisition. When we, as recruiters, start to look at candidates, we don't start with the first person who applied. We start with the last person who applied. So we may find 15 people to pre-screen before we get to you. And if we can get 5 of those 15 people to an interview with the hiring manager, we won't call you. If that's a surprise to you, type OMG. So Chris says, where does the statement belong on the resume? At the very top. Underneath your name, phone number, email address. So your resume is at the bottom of the pile. You're not going to get called. Half of the jobs you apply to, they will not call you because your resume was never seen by anyone. It's in the applicant tracking system, but it's so far down the application trail that no one's going to call you. Now, there is a way for you to mitigate this, for you to solve this. And I'm going to tell you in just a minute how to do that. But that's another reason why you're not getting called. Half of your resumes, half of the jobs you're applying to, I want you to think about the number of jobs you apply to. Half of them, your resume is at the bottom of the pile. No one ever saw it. Okay? Now, you can try to call a recruiter, but that's a complete waste of your time. Because when you call us and you leave a voice message, I'm going to tell you what I do. Okay? I press #4, #4 for all of the voice messages I get. That's pound delete, pound delete, pound delete, pound delete. Because we don't have time to listen to everybody's voicemail. Everybody says the same thing. Hey, this is Daniel. I'm just calling to check on the status of my application. Hey, this is whoever. I'm calling to check on the status of my application. Pound delete, pound delete. What if there is a way, and I'm going to tell you how, what if there is a way for you to be chased by recruiters and hiring managers instead of you chasing recruiters and hiring managers? That's your problem. I'm going to tell you how to solve that problem. On my Fast Track program, we don't chase anybody. We get chased. Okay? We get calls. They get calls all day, every day. All right? DeMarcus says, I've never used LinkedIn. Can I get you guys to build it from scratch? Yeah, send me a message, DeMarcus, and I'll send you what that looks like. You have to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has 65% of all open jobs on the planet. 65%. So if you're not on LinkedIn, using LinkedIn as a job board, you're missing out on 65% of the opportunities that are out there. You ain't never going to find a job. Okay? All right. Just looking for your questions. All right, good. Is it necessary to include the LinkedIn on your resume? No. Your LinkedIn profile and your resume should be identical. Plus, when it comes to the applicant tracking system and it's trying to read your HTTP or your email, it might get confused. Don't put your LinkedIn profile on your resume. No one's going to look at it anyway. All right. Let's talk about the third reason why you are not getting phone calls for job interviews. The third reason why is you are currently applying to jobs that are not open They're closed. They've already been filled. And the reason why that's happening is because you're not filtering the job boards correctly. So half of the jobs you're applying to, they are not open. Now you're asking yourself, why are they on LinkedIn? Why are they on ZipRecruiter? Why are they on Indeed.com? I'm going to tell you why. Half of the jobs that you are currently applying to right now, they are not open because no one has ever told you how to filter the job board correctly. Now, this truth I'm about to tell you, again, I challenge you. Check the universe. Get on the next rocket ship going to the moon and find anybody who would tell you this and tag me in the video. Let me explain to you what's going on. When I post and publish a position in the applicant tracking system, it immediately goes to our career site. And within 6 to 8 hours, it goes over to the job board. LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Indeed.com, they pull it from our job board because they're embedded in the back end of our applicant tracking system. When I close the position, unpublish it, fill the job, it immediately removes it from our career site. So you can't even see it on our website anymore. But LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, and Indeed.com, they do not remove that job from their site until 30 to 60 days after I have filled it. If that's a surprise to you, type OMG. What? You're telling me that I'm looking at a job I thought was open and I applied to it, excited to apply to it, and that job is not even open? Yes. It's closed. Yeah, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do about it as employers. Nothing. So many of you are asking about this fast track program. If you're interested in the fast track program, send me an email with the word fast track. I'll send you what it looks like. I am going to tell you at the end everything about the fast track program and resumes and all that good stuff. So you can wait till the end if you want to as well. But I only have 4 remaining spots starting on Monday. Okay, 4 remaining spots. That means if you want to find a job in the next 30 days and you want to get on my fast track program, you can send me an email and my staff and I will send you an email reply with information for the fast track program. You can sign up or not. It's up to you. All right. So the jobs you're applying to, they're closed. So we went over 3 reasons. Your resume doesn't attract the attention of hiring managers and recruiters. Number 2, your resume is at the bottom of the pile. Number 3, you're applying to closed jobs. Now, this next one, it's going to smack you right in the face. Listen, I'm going to tell you the 4th reason why you are not getting phone calls for job interviews. Okay? So when do you apply for a position that's not too soon or too late? Miss Bunny, you can't control that. So people asking me this question all the time. What is the best time to apply to a job? So let me explain to you how it works. So as in talent acquisition and recruiting, when we start going through resumes, we are looking for the first 15 or 20 people to set to the side that we want to pre-screen. Okay, so this is what happens. We have, let's say, 200 applications. The first 20 people we get to, we're going to stop looking at candidates. So that may be, we may go through 80 candidates to get to the first 20. It may take us 150 candidates to get to the first 20. It may take us all 200 people who apply to the job to get to 20. Or it may be the first 20. Okay? So we set those people to the side. Now we have a list, we consider to be a short list of people that we want to consider. So we look at their resume further to make sure that it is what the hiring manager is interested in. We then separate that list. At least I do. A, B, or C. This person has all, some, or hardly any of what we're looking for. All of the A candidates, they get the call first. Okay. Now you may be one of those candidates that are you're candidate number 61, and I may have gotten to candidate 60 and found what I need so far. So I'm going to have a conversation with all the A candidates, B candidates, and C candidates. If I find 5 people that I really like out of that 20, I'm going to talk to the hiring manager. and try to schedule them for an interview. I'm not talking to anybody else until the hiring manager is finished talking to all 5. So even that group of 20 that I have shortlisted, they may not get a call either. It's so, but there's nothing you could do about that. You can't worry about whether or not they pick you. You have to put yourself in a position to be picked. I'm going to tell you how to do that in just a second. Okay? So trying to time when you apply, that doesn't work. Everybody thinks, or most people that I talk to, they think we look at every application from every candidate that applies. We don't. Sometimes we only look at 50% of the people who applied, or 20% or 80% of the people who apply. It just depends on if we find the people we're looking for first. Nobody's going to tell you that truth, but that's the truth. I know it stings a little bit. All right, let me give you the 5th reason. Please, everybody, this is probably the most shocking reason of all of them. And I know I've said some pretty bold things. Okay, by the way, we're at 1.3K likes. I want to get to 10,000. Okay, tap the screen right now. If you tap the screen for 30 seconds, tap, 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 we will get to 5,000 likes in 30 seconds. Okay, when you like the live, all it does is it spreads it throughout the platform to say, hey, there's a bunch of people who are watching this. Go check it out if you really want a job. So Tracy says, how does networking work if you know the recruiter? Tracy, that is a very good question. Okay, so I'm going to answer your question, Tracy, but let me just explain to you kind of what my perspective is. I don't want anyone to control the process for you. Okay, and I mean that. I don't want you to have to rely on the relationship with that recruiter, or I don't. So how does it work? Networking. Okay. So if the recruiter that you know talks to you about the job and you have the expertise that the hiring manager is looking for, that's a good thing. Now, the problem is we're going to talk about interviewing in just a second. So that networking connection might get your foot in the door, but it doesn't guarantee you a job. The interview is what gets you a job. So I'm going to explain that to you. Many of you are missing that. You think your resume is what gets you the job. It's not. It's the interview. Your resume gets you the interview. That's all it does. The interview gets you the job. That's why I'm going to talk about the job interview. I'm going to start hammering away at the job interview so you guys can stop making these common, simple, easy mistakes. I don't want you to be like this client I helped today. He's been interviewing for a year. 30 interviews, 0 offers. 7 out of 10 interviews that you have, 6 at best, you should get a job offer. So you still got to interview. You might get your foot in the door, but you still got to interview with the hiring manager. And I'm going to tell you how to knock. I want hiring managers to fall out of their chair when they talk to you. I want them to flip over backwards, faint when you give them answers. Okay? So I'm going to talk to you about that. You have an interview for a lead. A lead what? Smiling to? What kind of a lead for what type of job? So tell me what that is. I'm going to help you. All right. So if you want me to review your resume, email it to me now. If you want to know more about my Fast Track program, how I help you, I help you land a higher paying job in 30 days or less, guaranteed, then just send me an email that says Fast Track. Okay. All right. So let me give you this 5th reason. Please, I want everybody, put your listening ears on. This is going to be a little bit of a shocker. Please listen to me, because you don't know the game. I'm going to give it to you. The 4th reason why you are not getting job interviews is because you are not applying to enough jobs. Please listen to me. You are not applying to enough jobs. I'm going to tell you how many jobs minimum you should be applying to every day if you want to be hired within 30 days. But I want you to tell me in the chat, type a number. How many jobs do you apply to on average each week? Be honest with me. I apply to this many jobs every week. How many? What is that number? Type it in the chat. We had 2,300 likes on TikTok. I want to get to 5,000. So case manager and social services as a lead. Okay. So I want to know, how many jobs do you apply to? Thanks for the rose smiling. Every single week. So 2, 15. My Sam says 15. Sino 2. Tim says 20. Okay, so I want you guys to please listen to me. 2 per day, T-Mill. I need to update my resume. Email me right now, Miss Bunny. Just send me your resume for a free resume review. I'll look at it and I'll tell you what you need to do. I interviewed 100 times and never what? Never got a job offer? Okay, I'm going to tell you why you were not selected. You shouldn't interview 100 times and not get selected. I'm going to tell you why. Just stick around. It's going to be the next thing I talk about. Job interviewing. Okay, so I see many of you writing in that I applied to 2 to 20 jobs. Okay, that's what you apply to every single week. I'm going to tell you how many jobs you should be applying to. This is not negotiable. Okay, if you're serious about getting a job, okay, in the next 30 days, I'm not talking about getting interviews. I'm talking getting past the interviews and getting job offers. You have to apply to a minimum of 700 jobs a week. 700. That's 700. 700 jobs a week. If that's a surprise to you, type, what? How many did you just say? 700? Yes, 700. Yeah. That's a lot, ain't it? And you guys are like, what are you talking about, Daniel? I'm going to tell you why. Why is the number 700? I'm going to tell you why. And by the way, check this out. On my fast track program, they apply to 100 jobs a day in just 30 minutes a day. That's what I teach people on the fast track program. You don't have to spend all day applying to jobs. You can apply to jobs that exactly match what you want to do, working where you want to work, making the money or more money than you want to make. Literally, you could do 100 applications, one at a time, in 30 minutes. You just don't know what to do. You have no idea what to do. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you, okay? If you're not applying to, now let me explain to you why 100 is the number. Please follow this math. If you're applying to 20 jobs a week, 20, that's what you guys are telling me. And M Saga, I'm going to tell you why you don't see 100 jobs in your field. Please pay attention. And then I'm going to talk about, after I tell you this, I'm going to talk to you about pay, how to talk about pay, and then I'm going to talk to you about interviewing. Okay, so M Saga, please pay attention because everybody says the same thing. And by the way, everybody on the fast track program has this same issue. I tell them 100 and they say, how are we going to find 100? And then when I show them, they say, what? I never knew that. And so you'll see. Remember, I'm a recruiter. I know exactly how job boards work. I am an expert on job boards. I manage them. I met with all of the job boards, every single one of them that's embedded in our applicant tracking system. I know exactly how they work. And that information is what I give to clients on my fast track program to show them, first of all, you're not applying on the right side of the job board. Okay? You're applying on the wrong side. You're applying on the AI side. That's why your view is limited. Okay? So let me tell you why 700 is a number. So I'm going to take your number. You apply to 20 jobs per week. So first, half of the jobs that you're applying to, they're closed. They're not open. Okay? So now, instead of 20 jobs you're being considered for, you're only being considered for 10. Okay? Half of those jobs, your resume is at the bottom of the pile. You can't do anything about that. So you thought you were being considered for 30. Now you're being considered for 5. Okay? If your resume does not have the things that I talked about in the beginning and attracts the attention of hiring managers and recruiters, half of the recruiters will not pick you. So now you're down to 3. So you thought you were being considered for 20 jobs every single week, and now you're being considered for 3. And now you're trying to figure out, wait a minute, I applied to 25 jobs, 30 jobs. Why is no one calling me? Because they're not paying attention to you at all. You don't have enough people. You're not applying to enough jobs. Okay? That's it. You're not. So you're chasing these recruiters and trying to figure out where you are in the process, and you shouldn't have to do that. This is what happens on the Fast Track program. I show clients how to properly filter, search, and apply for jobs on LinkedIn, right? The first thing I do is I tell them, switch your LinkedIn search, because right now you're on the wrong side of the search. Every profile on LinkedIn is defaulted to the wrong search. Okay? Nobody knows it. You guys don't know it. Okay, so then when they switch, the first thing they notice is, oh my goodness, there's 4 million jobs on LinkedIn. Yes, that's where we all start there. Now that we have 4 million jobs, we're going to filter by what makes sense for that particular person. And then we get all the way down to easy apply. And when we get down to easy apply, they realize that 4 million jobs, based on the filtering, has shrunk down to 6,000 jobs. But all they need is 1,000, right? So they have 6,000 jobs that are open jobs, match what they're looking for, right? And then I tell them, you don't read job descriptions. That's fluff. You don't worry about job titles, because every job title, for every job, one job title, there's 50 other job titles doing the exact same thing. You don't concern yourself with pay, and you don't concern yourself with whether it's remote, hybrid, or on-site. You don't worry about that. You just apply. Okay? None of that makes sense to them initially until they start doing it. Right? Then I tell them, while we're on this training, I want you to take the next 5 minutes and I want you to apply to 15 jobs. And every single one of them does it. And it takes them less than 10 minutes. They apply. LinkedIn profile is set up. Everything is set up correctly. They apply. 15 jobs. Done. And I said, now you're going to do the same thing on LinkedIn, same thing on ZipRecruiter, same thing on Indeed.com. And you're going to apply to 100 jobs per day. It's going to take you 30 minutes. When you do that, first thing in the morning, before you go to work, before you go work out, before you go knit that stocking for your dog, whatever you do, you're going to do that and you're going to walk away from your computer. And you're going to go enjoy your day. And when you come back in the afternoon, you're going to see that recruiters are saying, well, I want to talk to you. Okay? Now, what do the numbers look like on the Fast Track program? Well, they apply to 100 jobs per day. Out of that 100 jobs, none of them are closed. Because I show them how to filter correctly. Remember, I'm a recruiter. Hey. So none of the jobs are closed. They're open. Half of the jobs, they will be at the bottom of the pile. They can't stop that. But I fixed their resume too. So I know that when a recruiter looks at their resume, it attracts their attention and they're like, wait a minute, this person is exactly what we're looking for. So of the 100 jobs per day that people on my Fast Track program are applying to, they're being considered for 50 jobs a day. Considered. People are looking at their information. And you're being considered for 2 a week. 50 a day for them. You're spending 3, 4, 5 hours a day doing applications. They spend 30 minutes. That's it. Because I know how we really want to get your application, and it's not through the long application process. We don't want that. We don't care about that. But you think because we have that long application that we don't care. We don't care. Stop doing the long applications. If it takes you more than 15 seconds to do an application, move on. I'm telling you the truth, okay? All right. So, Msaga, the reason why you don't see 100 jobs in your industry is because you're searching on the wrong side of LinkedIn or the job boards. The second reason why is because your focus is so narrow. The very fact that you say jobs in your field, hiring managers hire skill, not job title, not based on industry, skill. Okay, so I'll give you a good example. I have a lady who is on our fast track program who has been a kindergarten teacher for 30 years, and she has her PhD. She wants to get out of the classroom. She has no idea what to do. I said, did you know with a PhD, you can go teach at a college or university, early childhood education? Did you know that? She was like, no. Yes. Come on. They get you out of the classroom and start teaching adults. You don't have to be teaching kids. But you didn't know that. You've been stuck in this field for the past 25 years and you didn't even know. You got a PhD. Most people don't know that. Okay? They don't know it. All right. Just trying to see if there's any question. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're welcome, your favorite noob. You're welcome. All right. Ms. Bunny says, I email you. Thank you. Our staff is looking at emails right now and they're replying to emails right now. We will respond to you in just a second. Okay. So the fourth reason, the final reason why no one is calling you is because I want you guys to understand that the hire cycle for almost every position, with the exception of directors, directors too, but VPs and senior level executives, the hire cycle is about 30 days. Week 1, we gather candidates. Week 2, we do pre-screens. At the end of week 2, we do hiring manager interviews. Week 3, we do final interviews. At the end of week 3, we make offers. Week 4, offers accepted. We close the position. It takes about 28 to 30 days for us to fill a position. So if you applied to a job 3 weeks ago and you were not interviewed, you're not getting that job and you got to start all over again. Yep. All over again. All right. Now let's talk about pay. Many of you struggle with, what should I say about pay? Okay. So first, I'm going to talk about pay and then I'm going to talk to you about job interviewing. First, pay. How is pay determined in an organization? Companies pay you and determine what they're going to pay you based on one thing. And that is the outcome they want you to get. Okay? And the bigger the outcome, the bigger the impact on the organization, the more money they're willing to pay you. The problem you have is you're comparing your previous job to your current job or the job that you're applying to. And you think they're the same. They're not. Those two companies may want you to get completely different outcomes. One may want you to get more of an outcome. One may want you to get less of an outcome. So you don't know how to position yourself from a pay perspective. I'm going to tell you where to find the pay, even if it's not listed. So pay is determined by the outcome we are wanting someone to get in a role. That's how you have to determine it. So when a hiring manager comes to me, I ask them the question, what do you want this person to do? What outcome do you want this person to get? So when I do a salary survey, when I'm trying to figure out what is a fair salary back to them, it's based on the outcome they're wanting someone to get. Okay? So that's what I want you to understand. A payroll manager who can do 5,000 direct deposits every 2 weeks is paid more than a payroll manager who can only do 500. Okay? Dre, I had the interview yesterday, and man, Daniel, all the questions you said they would ask, they asked, and I feel I answered with confidence in alignment with my experience. Congratulations, Dre. Appreciate you sharing that information. That's Dre on Instagram. He had an interview yesterday. Everything I told you that they're going to tell you. Now, why do I? Okay, so people wonder. They ask me. I get this question too. How is it you know? I don't know if you know this. So I have a guide that I have available in my store. It's called the top 50 interview questions and answers, and how I would answer every single one of them, what the questions are and how I answer them. And the guide talks about what interviewing is all about as well. And I'm writing another book right now. It's called The Job Interview Cheat Code. Okay? The hidden rules hiring managers never tell you, the simple truth about why some candidates get hired and others don't. I should be finished with this book probably in about a week and a half. It should be done. It's in the final stages. But this is the complete cheat code. Now, why do I know? Why can I confidently say and know what was going to happen in the interview, what questions are going to be asked, okay? It's because I'm the person who creates the questions and gives them to the hiring manager. Me. Now, let me tell you why I do that. We do not want hiring managers, I do not want hiring managers to be making decisions based on their feelings. And you have to be comparing apples to apples. So you have to ask people the same types and kinds of questions so you can see what their responses are. And based on their responses, you can then make a determination about which one is a better fit and which one is not. So the reason why I tell clients exactly every question that will be asked, why they ask the question, whether it's a pre-screen hiring manager interview, panel interview, it doesn't matter. It's because I'm the one that creates those questions. Okay? I create them. I'm the one that does it. And I tell the hiring managers, these are the answers you need to be looking for. Okay? So thank you for trusting in me, Dre. I appreciate that. Ramona, if they give an offer of $187,000 a year and I want $225,000 a year, how do I articulate that to the recruiter? So Ramona, this is very interesting. Okay? They're offering you $187,000 a year. I want you to communicate with me in the chat. Do you know why they're offering $187,000? I know what you want, but it may not be in line with the outcome they want someone to get. So you can kick and scream and poop on their porch step. They're not going to give you $225 if that's not the outcome they want someone to get. Why do you want $225? Answer that question for me, Ramona. What would be an introductory video for a payroll analyst? What do you mean an introductory video, Millie? Where are you doing an introductory video at? Is someone asking you to provide an introductory video? Okay, so pay is determined by the outcome someone gets. Now, Ramona, the reason why I'm asking you to give me this answer is because I am the person that's in between you and the hiring manager when it comes to salary and pay negotiations. So when I tell people there's $2,000 to $10,000 more in every single job offer, it's because I know it's there. When I submitted you to the hiring manager, I know where I submitted you at. I know the money is there. So, and I know how pay is determined in organizations. I'm the one that usually does those salary surveys for every position in the organization, okay, to make sure it's industry in line with industry and the whole 9 yards. So, how do you approach pay? Somebody says to you, pay is not listed. Somebody says to you, what kind of money are you looking to make? Right? Let's say they ask you that question. What should your answer be? You should always say, I'm open. Okay. Now, before you interview, you should, if the pay is not listed, you should research the pay. And I'm going to tell you how you do that easily. But you always say, I'm open. Never give a number. Why are we asking about pay? Okay. We're asking about pay because it is a qualifier. We're trying to qualify you or disqualify you. Okay. That's what we're trying to do. So you don't give a number because if you give the wrong number, you will be disqualified. So let's say they press you. I need a number. Okay, I need a number. What should you do? Okay, before you walk into that interview, you're going to Google. You could be sitting in your car. I don't care, whatever. You're going to Google this. What is the pay range for this position at this company? What is the pay range for this position at this company? And it'll spit out a number to you, a range. And if they ask you for a number and you have to give a number, you say, I am at the top end of the range. I know the range is 140 to 180. I'm at the top end of the range. And the recruiter should say, 180? Yes. Now, most people think if we ask for a number, that is the number you're stuck with. That's not the number you're stuck with. We're just trying to qualify you. The last 3 jobs I've had, I've gotten an offer $10,000, close to $10,000 above the maximum amount every single time. Because once they interviewed me, they realized, wait a minute, this guy can run the whole show. All right, so let me go here real quick. Ramona, that's the top of the range for level 4. The reason for my justification is what they require is higher than level 4. And their level 5 starts at 210. Okay, so I don't know. I'm trying to understand exactly what you're saying, but let me try to give you an answer that I think will be helpful. First, why did they give you an offer of $187,000? I know why. Do you know why? Please answer that, Ramona, on Facebook. I know why they offered you $187,000. Do you know why they offered you $187,000? Millie says, persons tend to shy away from these videos, or they are sometimes not sure what to or what not to say. Okay. So Millie, let me explain to you how you deal with video interviews, AI interviews, anything. I want you to treat every interview the same. I don't care if you're talking to a dog, AI, a computer. They ask you to do a video. When that computer asks you a question, you want to respond as if you were talking to a person. That's what you should do for every single interview. All right? I hope that helps you. So Ramona says, okay, so you don't know why they offered you 187. I'm going to tell you why they offered you 187. Okay? The range 187 to 225 is about, so 25 plus 20 minus 7, 17. So 20 minus 7, 13. So it's about $40,000 different, almost $40,000 different. So let's break that up in thirds, right? So let's say it's 40,000, that's 13,000. So it's 187 to 190, 200, 200 to 215, 215 to 225. Okay, so why did they offer you 187? I'm going to tell you why. And this is going to be a challenge for you. They don't believe you can get $225,000 results. I wasn't in the interview, but I can tell you they were not convinced that you were $225,000 material. So when a company comes to you and they offer you a low number, oh, I'm sorry to tell you, this is the truth though, they don't care about losing you or not. So if I were you, you're going to send an email. I'm going to tell you what email to send to try to get more in just a second. I'm going to tell you what you should say. It's a 4-sentence email you need to send back to them to get them to potentially give you more money. But I'm telling you why they gave you why they chose 187. Was the range 187 to 225? Okay. All right. So that's how you deal with pay. Never give a number, ever give a number. If you are required on an application to put a number in the box, Google it first and put the top number in there. So if it says 80 to 100, and you have to put something in the box in an application, put 100,000. Always put the top number. All right. Again, we're just trying to qualify you. If this is helpful to you, tap the screen for the next 15 seconds, please, everybody, because now I'm about to talk about job interviewing. Let's tap the screen until we get to 7,000 likes really quickly. Tap the screen. If each one of us tap the screen 30 times, we'll be at 7,000 likes in about 12 or 13 seconds. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost there. We're at 5,800, about to hit 5,900, guys. And then I'm about to tell you, I talked about interviewing, so keep going. When we get to 7,000 likes, I'm going to talk to you about job interviewing and how to never ever be nervous in a job interview. Thank you, Smiling. The range is 135 to 176, and you're talking about 225. So they gave you an offer of 187. You're not going to get 225. So they gave you $9,000 above the max. They're not going to give you any more. Will you take the job at 187? Yes or no? So they're not going to give you more than that. I thought the range was 187 to 225, but the range is 135 to 176, and they gave you 187. So they do believe that you can more than get the outcome they're looking for. And so they're not going to go to 225. They won't be able to justify it. And I don't know if this is a government job or not. Is it a government job? Okay. Keep tapping the screen. You guys are doing great. 6,700. We're almost at 7,000. Please keep going. We're almost at 7,000. You got to tap faster than that. 5, 4. Keep going. 3, 2. You guys are doing awesome. 1. We're almost there. Okay, so it's not a government job. I don't know what you mean by level 4. When you say level 4, they're not going to go. I'm telling you, they're not. You may be able to get a couple more dollars out of them, but you're not going to get much more out of them. So you're saying you will not take the job at 187? Confirm that. If you will not, say I will not in the chat. I want to make sure you understand. I understand what you're saying. Okay, so let's talk. We're at 7,400. Let's talk about job interviewing. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about job interviewing. Please, everybody, please listen to me, because there's so many people who struggle with job interviews, and I'm going to walk you through in the next few seconds. I'm going to walk you through what the job interview is about and how you can never ever have to worry about it. Sounds like it is a government job, Ramona. Okay, if it's a government job, they're not going to go beyond that. You will be outside of the pay band, and pay equity will be threatened, and they're not going to do anything about that. So, all right. So let's talk about job interviewing. So there are 4 different kinds or types of job interviews. Okay, 4. It's important that you are aware of all of them so you know how to prepare and walk into each. Okay, there is the initial pre-screen that can be done by a recruiter or somebody in HR or the hiring manager's assistant. The purpose of a pre-screen is to tell you about the job and to make sure you're comfortable with doing whatever the work is. Okay? All right. Ramona, let's take this information offline. Send me either a direct message or email, and I'll coach you from there. Okay? So the pre-screen is designed to screen you. Not for your skill, but to screen you to make sure you're okay with doing the work they want someone to do. Okay? So this is the interview right before the hiring manager, and it usually will last about 15, 20 minutes. They're only going to ask you 2 questions, maybe 3 in the interview, in the pre-screen interview. And then they're going to talk the rest of the time about the job. And they're going to be like, are you okay with that? Are you okay with this? This is what we want somebody to do. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with this? Okay? And you're going to be like, yes, yes, yes. What questions are they going to ask you? First question right out of the gate. Tell me about yourself. So they're going to ask you, right? Now, this is where most of you make a big mistake. You have a big challenge. When they ask you, tell me about yourself, you're answering that question wrong. Okay? I'm going to tell you the right way to answer it in just a second. Second question they're going to ask you is, I see you currently working. Why are you looking to leave your current job? Okay? You answer that question wrong too. All right? So, what is the job interview about? You think the job interview is about you proving to the hiring manager that you have the skill and experience to do the job. You think that the purpose of the job of the job interview is for you to prove to the hiring manager that you have the ability to do the work. It is not. The job interview has zero to do. Thank you for the rose. It has nothing to do with your skill. Zero. You do not get hired to do the job because of your skill. That is not why we make you a job offer. It is not your skill that we are trying to understand. Your skill, which is listed on your resume, is what got you the interview. So skill is only important when they are trying to pick someone to interview. It is over. It is over. Once they decide to interview you, it is not about your skill. It's okay to disagree, Arjan. You will notice something about me. I don't argue with people over what I know to be truth. Okay? And it's fine. Just keep doing whatever you want to do. And that's perfectly fine. So, the hiring manager is not picking you because of your skill. Okay? It is your skill that got you in the door. No, it is not the outcomes. Everybody, please listen to me. When we have a job that we post, we know the outcome we want someone to get. When we see your resume and we view your resume and pick you, we know with great certainty the outcomes you have already gotten for someone else. That tells us you could probably do the same thing for us. So the reason why we pick you is because we believe you can do the job. That is 100% how we do it. Okay? There is something about you they don't know that they're trying to find out about, and that is what the job interview is about. And the job interview is not about your career or your skill. It is about your character. Please, please pay close attention to what I'm saying. Your personality is not that an issue. It is your character, the who you are when no one else is looking, that the hiring manager is trying to figure out when they ask you interview questions. Okay? Now, here's what I mean. Imagine a hiring manager says this to you. I want to give you this job, but I'm concerned. I have to go away next Thursday for 4 months. What I want to know from you is when I return 4 months from now, what will this place look like? Will it look like a war zone, or will it be? And your answer is going to be no. I'm going to make sure everything is taken care of. I'm going to be here on time. I'm going to make sure all of the reports get done. I'm going to make sure all of the stuff that's supposed to get done, I'm going to get that done. That is what the job interview is about. You just told the hiring manager, you don't have to hold my hand. You don't have to look over my shoulder. You don't have to manage me. I'm going to get the job done. That it speaks directly to your character, not your skill. Have you ever interviewed for a job that you knew you were qualified for? You knew the job inside and out, but you still did not get selected? Type yes in the chat if that's correct. Yes or yes. Have you ever interviewed for a job? You knew you were a perfect fit and you still didn't get the job. And that's what was happening to this client that I was talking to today. I said they're not concerned about whether you can do data analytics. They just don't trust you. You did not communicate that you are a trustworthy, honest, committed, loyal person with your interview answers. Let's talk about that. So when they say, tell me about yourself, you think they're saying, tell me about your career highlights. That's what you think they're saying. That is not what they're saying. What they're asking is this: tell me about the 3 or 4 character traits about you that make you who you are. That's what they mean when they say, tell me about yourself. Well, when you understand it from that perspective, your answer is different. I'm hardworking, I'm loyal, I'm committed, I'm honest, whatever those character traits are. That's how you answer it. You're trying to establish trust. Okay? So throughout the entire interview, a hiring manager is trying to figure out if you can be trusted, if you're honest. Okay? That's what they're trying to figure out. That's why they ask you these questions. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, out of the abundance of a man's heart, really they're thinking, the mouth will speak. So you will say what you're thinking. And then there's a sister scripture that says, as a man thinks, so is he. We will do what we think. So how can I predict what a person will do? I got to figure out what they're thinking. And how do I figure out what they're thinking? I ask them questions so they can start talking. And when you start talking, I can tell, man, you a BSer. You're not going to do it. So here's the problem. So I asked the guy earlier today, when you're asked the question, tell me about yourself, what is your answer? He started talking to me about his entire career. And I said, that's why they're not hiring you. Because they didn't learn anything new about you. They know about your career. That's why you're here. Stop talking about your career. We already know that. But we don't know if we can trust you yet. Okay? So then I asked him the question, are you trustworthy? He said, yes. And I said, great. Prove it. And as articulate as he is, he could not say a word. I said, your problem is you don't know how to communicate, that you're trustworthy, which is the thing a hiring manager is trying to figure out. So if you can't articulate that you are trustworthy, articulate that you're an honest person, if your answers don't articulate that, you won't get the job. I'm telling you. It has nothing to do with your skill. I don't care if people believe me or not. You don't have to believe me. I have 60 examples every month that I help get jobs. Okay? 60 people a month on my fast track program that I help get jobs. I'm not concerned about whether people believe me or not. Okay? So, I'm telling you, that's what the issue is. And then I asked him the second question. I said, you're currently working, and they're going to ask you this question. Why are you looking to leave your current job? Well, his response was, I'm looking for an opportunity for growth. I'm looking for an opportunity that aligns with my education. You don't say that. You don't say that. Because they're thinking, oh, you're looking for an opportunity to grow and get better and do all these things. So if I hire you and 6 months from now, another company comes along with a better opportunity in your opinion, you're going to leave me too, just like you're leaving this company. Better opportunity may be your reason why. It can't be the thing that you communicate. So Ramona, a lot of people think that they have to like you and want to talk to you. That's partially true. They will learn to like you, but the thing that they're trying to learn is, can they trust you? They won't know about liking you until you actually get in the organization. So you only got 30 minutes to prove that you can be trusted with the work they're about to give you. A year ago, I just thought of this story. a year ago, I had a guy. It's kind of like dating, but it's a little different. So a year ago, I had a guy knock on my door. And I used to have several guys knock on my door saying, "Hey, I'm a roofing person." And I would be like, shoo, go away. I don't need a roof, right? That's what I did. I'm a roofer. I'm a roofing guy. Have you had anybody inspect your roof? Right? That's what many of the roof guys would say. Well, a year ago, a guy knocked on my door and said, "Hey, I want to show you something. I walked around to the back of your house in the alleyway, and I saw that one of your shingles was missing. Did you know that?" And I said, "No." So he took me around the back and he showed me. He says, "This probably happened from our recent wind and hail storm. If you don't get that fixed, then water could potentially get under the rest of those shingles and start to eat through the wood in your roof, and it just can cause too many problems." And then he said this, "I can get you a brand new roof, gutters, and everything for free." That's what he said. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah." "Who is your insurance company?" And I told him. He says, "How long have you been with them?" I told him. He says, "Oh yeah. If you want to call them right now, I can talk to them and I could get you a free roof." I didn't know this guy. I didn't know this guy from a rock on the ground. And every other roofer who came through, they never ever did this. So I said, "Okay, well, let's call them." We called them, and sure enough, they said, "We'll send somebody out there." He told me everything that was going to happen. They said, "Sure enough, we'll send somebody out there. They'll take a look, and then we'll take." And 4 days later, something like that, the insurance company called me and says, "Yeah, we will pay to give you a brand new roof." And so I called the guy back and says, "Hey, yeah, you guys can come and do the roof. And when they send the money to me, I'll send it directly to you." Why did I pick him? He did something that no one else does. He did something that you guys don't do. Okay? He was proving trustworthiness throughout the entire conversation. He wasn't trying to tell me how good a roofer he was, how many roofs they did, how good he is at it, how long he's been doing it. He just said to me, "I see you have a problem. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I can get this problem fixed for you and it won't cost you a dime." And so then he said, "Now do this." And I did it and it was correct. And he said, "Now do this." I did it and it was correct. And so every time he said something, it was true and he was proving trust, and they walked away with $17,000. Okay, what's my point? That's what happens in an interview. When you are with a hiring manager and they're trying to pay you $100,000 a year, or they're considering it, that's not a little bit of money. They're trying to consider, we need to have this problem solved, and we are willing to pay $100,000 to someone to solve it. Can we trust that this person is going to solve it? That's what the job interview is about. So that's why I say you don't talk about your career. You talk about your trustworthiness, your loyalty, your commitment, your willingness to be a total team player, your willingness to be a self-sacrificing person. That's what you do. Okay? And that's what you guys are missing. That's what I teach everyone on my Fast Track program to do. We don't talk about our previous work history at all. Okay? That's the big mistake that you're making. So they'll say, "Tell me about yourself." And you should tell them about the character traits that make you who you are. They'll ask you, "Why are you looking to leave your current company?" And you do not want to talk about your ambitions. You want to tell them, "The company that I work for, they're great. I value team success far above individual success. I have done my research and believe that I can get that here." And then they're going to ask you, "What do you know about us, or what do you know about this job?" And you better have researched the job so you can regurgitate, "Well, this is what I know about you. You were founded then, this, that," and you could talk to them about their company. Because if you say, "Well, I haven't had a chance to do the research," they're saying, "Oh, you really are not serious about us, and you're not going to get a job." Those are the 3 questions they're going to ask you. that are non-behavior based. Then they're going to ask you situation or behavior based questions. They're trying to get an understanding of whether or not how you would respond if nobody's watching. So they'll ask you, talk to me about a time you had a conflict with a coworker. What was the situation and how did you respond? You use the STAR interview answer framework to answer that question. Talk to me about a time you had a disagreement with a manager. What was the situation and how did you resolve it? You have to use the STAR interview answer framework to answer that question. Talk to me about a time you had a last minute change to a project you were working on. It was tough. Increase the timeline. What was the situation? How did you respond? You use the STAR interview answer framework to answer that as well. And that's what I train everybody on my Fast Track to do, to answer using the STAR interview answer framework the right way, so they answer those questions in 45 to 60 seconds or less. And they do it in a way that establishes and builds trust. And then after you've done that, thank you, Smiling, I appreciate that. After you've done that, the hiring manager will then start talking about the job. And they're going to tell you everything about the job. And they're going to open up to you and tell you everything that's going on, all the problems they want someone to solve. And then at the end, they're going to say, that's all I have. Do you have any questions for me? And then, this is where you have a big mistake. You start asking questions. Now, be honest with me. On average, how many questions do you ask at the end of an interview? I'm going to tell you how many you should ask and why. How many questions do you ask at the end of the interview? The average person will tell me, well, Daniel, I ask 2 to 3 questions. I ask 3 or 4 questions. And I'm like, what are those questions? And why are you asking? Like, what does success look like? What is your 36? The guy that I talked to today said the same thing. What does success look like? What does your 30, 60, 90-day plan look like? What was success when the person was in the position before me? What does success look like with them? What's the culture of the company? How many questions should you ask? You shouldn't ask any questions at the end of an interview. 0. Let me explain to you why. When the hiring manager says to you, that's all I have? That's all I have? Do you have any questions for me? They're saying, that's the end of the interview. I've made my decision. Then you start asking these questions, and your questions make them question their decision, because now your questions sound like you are skeptical about the job. What does success look like? Why do you care? Like, what is that going to help you? How's that going to help you? What was success like with the last person? Why? Why do you want to know that? Like, how is that going to help you do this job? It's not. What does success look like 30, 60, 90 days from now? I don't know. Because I haven't worked with you yet. This is where we're trying to get to, but I don't know if you can help us get there. You understand? So you start sounding skeptical. And the hiring manager says, maybe I made the wrong decision. I shouldn't pick this person. So, should you ask questions at the end of an interview? Yes. You should only ask one question. Ramona, is that the question you ask? Be honest. Because that's the only question you should ask. When a hiring manager says, do you have any questions for me? You're trying to find out 2 things. You're trying to tell them that you want the job, and you're trying to find out if they're going to make you an offer. That's what you're trying to find out. So your response should be, thank you very much for this interview. I really learned a lot, and I'm excited about this position. I do have one question for you, please. When would you like for me to get started? Okay? Now, that's the only question you should ask, and you're knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone by doing it. What are those 2 birds? Number 1, you just communicated to the hiring manager, if you make me an offer, I want this job. Now, Ramona just got a $187,000 job offer. And she asked this question at the end of the interview. Is that the only question you ask Ramona? Be honest, tell me. You can tell me if you ask more. So, 1, you're telling them, I'm interested in the job. The second thing is, You're about to find out if they're going to make you an offer. Because their response is going to tell you. If they respond with, well, we do have several other people that we need to interview for this job, and once we have interviewed everyone, then we will make a decision about who we want to bring in to get started. They are not going to make you an offer. The decision has been made, and there's nothing you can do to change their mind. If they respond with, well, the next steps are someone from talent acquisition or HR will reach out to you to have you complete the application, the onboarding, yada, yada, yada. And we're looking to have someone start on June 23rd. Can you start June 23rd? You are definitely going to get an offer. It's the only question you should ask. Everything else you should know. I have a guide in my book. I think it's in my bookstore. It's like $3.99. It's what you should know before you go. All of the stuff that you should research before you even walk into an interview. You can Google it. It's easy. You should know it before you walk into an interview. And then when you get an offer, here we go, Ramona. Here we go, Ramona. I'm about to tell you. There's a 4-question reply you can give to every offer that will make a hiring manager give you $2,000 to $10,000 more than the original offer they gave you. So once you get the offer, you're going to wait 1 day, 24 hours before you respond. When that 1 day passes, you're going to send this email that's going to say this. Okay, Jack says, I had a round of interviews yesterday and finalized with the CEO. Conversations flowed smoothly and we lost. I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean, Jax. Lady says, would asking that question not turn them off? No, it won't turn them off. Every hiring manager, if they want to make you an offer, they never ask you if you would accept an offer if they ask, because they're concerned that if they ask you, you might say no. So they all come to me and ask me to ask you. So every one of them wants to know. No, that is not going to make them turn them off. Okay? Lost track of time. He didn't ask me if I had any questions, thoughts. Okay, let me give you just a little next level insight, Jax. If a hiring manager is in an interview with you and the conversation is relaxed and they're not trying to figure out if you can be trusted or not, they don't like you right off the bat. There is no such thing as a friendly interview. So if it turns like that, then it's no longer a business meeting. It's something else, and they're probably not going to make you an offer. So be careful. So here's what you should say when you get an offer and you are interested in seeing if you can get $2,000 to $10,000 more. Make sure you research the pay range. You want to know what that is. And then when you get the job offer, the written job offer, you're going to reply with this. Thank you very much for this offer. I am whatever the new number is. Thank you. I look forward to hearing back from you and getting started. So that I was wondering if you can go to is the most important part of that 4-sentence reply. Thank you very much for this offer. I am very excited to get started with the position. So you're telling them that you're going to start the job. And then you're going to say, I was wondering if the company can go to. You're not going to give a justification, whatever that new number is. Thank you very much. I look forward to getting started with the job. That's what you should be doing. So what do we cover today? We talked about the reasons why you are not getting calls for job interviews. We talked about the 6 reasons why. One of them is your resume. And if you don't fix that, nothing's going to change. We talked about pay. How to determine pay, how to figure out what pay is, how to communicate what you're willing to accept for a job or be qualified for in terms of pay. We talked about job interviewing, what the job interview is all about. The 4 types of interviews. There's the pre-screen, the hiring manager interview, the panel interview, and then the final interview with someone who is a director or leader. And the reason why they do panel interviews and the hiring manager's manager interviews is because they don't trust the decision making of the hiring manager. That's why. Okay? Companies say they're collaborative. Not let the hiring manager make the decision. It's their team. But if they don't let the hiring manager make the decision, they don't trust the hiring manager. Okay? So, We talked about job interviews. We talked about the one question you should ask. Stop asking all of those questions because you sound like you are concerned about the job and you're skeptical. And lastly, I talked about the one question, the 4-sentence question that you can send back to get them to give you $2,000 to $10,000 more from every written job offer you get. I promise you they will up the number. Now, many of you have asked, I've seen many of you send your resumes for review, and my staff has been going through those resumes and responding to your resumes. You ask, well, do you charge for what you do? And if you do, how much does it cost? Yes, I charge. And I'm going to tell you how much it costs. You're not going to believe it, but I'm going to tell you. So if you have questions about, man, I'm submitting my resume, but nobody's calling me back. It might be my resume. Can you review it for free? Yes, just email it to me. It doesn't cost anything. I do not charge a dime to review your resume and give you feedback. In the feedback, I will tell you those things that you need to correct. You can do it yourself and go on about your day. If you look at it and say, oh, no, I do not want to do this. You're the expert. Can you do it for me? The answer is yes. Okay. Well, if you're going to do it for me, how much does that cost? We have 3 resume packages. Package number 1 is a resume only, $75. So 4 business day turnaround, guaranteed to attract the attention of hiring managers and recruiters and get you more interviews. Package number 2 is a resume plus a cover letter that's $88, guaranteed to get the attention of hiring managers and recruiters. And you should never send a cover letter with your resume. You should only send a cover letter to the hiring manager when you are confirmed for the interview. Most people do it wrong. Okay, that's $88. And then I have a package where we do a resume, plus we do your cover letter, plus I give you another resume copy that uploads to job boards, easy to create a profile. And I give you my top 50 interview questions and answers cheat sheet for free. And I give you 5% off. So it ends up being like $93. It's $97.99, but it's $93 after all of those discounts. 4 business day turnaround, guaranteed to attract the attention of hiring managers and recruiters, get you noticed. It's my interview ready package. You can get those. Simply send me an email. We do your resume review. We respond to you. And then many of you have asked in the chat, many of you asked via email and DM, what do you charge for the Fast Track program? I'm going to tell you. So I have a Fast Track program. And on my Fast Track program, I help clients get higher paying jobs in 30 days or less, guaranteed. Now, how can I make that guarantee? If they do everything that I tell them to do, they will land a job. They will have multiple job offers, 2 to 4 job offers in 30 days. Everybody who does exactly what I tell them in terms of searching for jobs, we do their resume, all of that good stuff, I interview prep. So what do you get with the Fast Track program? Number 1, I'm going to do your resume for you. That's included. Number 2, I'm going to help you search for jobs and do your LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to show you how easy and simple it is for you to apply to 100 jobs every single day in just 30 minutes. I do that training for you. I'm going to give you my e-guide, my top 50 interview questions and answers. I'm going to give you my popular ebook, Your Total Career Makeover, so you understand how to walk through your entire career and be in charge. I'm going to give you the best way to negotiate pay so you know how to make sure you're not being underpaid. I'm going to do all of your one-on-one coaching. One one-on-one coaching session with me outside of my Fast Track program is $160. One 60-minute session. I'm going to do all of your one-on-one sessions included. Okay? I do group training every Monday, every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I train on LinkedIn, job search refresher, and interview prep for every single person. And I send you the videos in that group from that group training every week. Okay. And then I'm also going to give you interview prep coaching, so you never have to worry about being prepped for an interview. I'm going to do that for you. And when you get an offer, I'm going to prep you for the offer. Okay. And you're going to get access to anything else in my ebook store that you need. And I give you 24 hours a day, 7 day a week support via email and text directly to my cell number. What does all that cost? The total cost, or the cost for my fast track program, is 4 installments of $124.25, or $497, but you pay it out over 4 months. Okay? Now, the reason why I made it so affordable is because I want to help as many people as possible. So if you decided that you want to join my fast track program, all you have to do is send me an email and in the subject line type fast track. There will be an option for you to pay it in full if you want, $497, or you can do the installments, $124.25 per month, even though I am going to help you land a higher paying job in the next 30 days. Yes. I do not ask for the money up front. I prove to you that I'm going to get you a job. Right? Now, there's a scripture in the Bible that I love. It says, faith without works is dead. Means you can say you have faith, but if you don't have actions that correspond with that faith, then do you really have faith, or you're not going to benefit from it at all? Okay? There's another saying I like, and that is, information without action is just entertainment. We scroll social media all day and get information, and we're entertained. We look at YouTube all day and we get entertained. And we never take the information and apply it to our situation. So I sat here for the past hour and I read your mail. I told you exactly what was going on and how to fix it. Now, you could either use this information and go fix it yourself, or you can join my fast track team and let me help you get this taken care of. But if you take no action, nothing about your life will change. It will be the same tomorrow and next week and next month and next year. Nothing will change. God doesn't allow people, He don't allow people's paths to cross for no reason. You have to make a decision about whether you're going to make things happen or not. If you do, I would love to work with you. If not, I wish you the best of luck. I will be live again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can see the replay on my YouTube channel. I will talk to you then. God bless you. God bless you. God keep you. I will talk.